How's it going, everyone? This is Trixx from MoS Trixx, and in this video we're going to be talking about what makes a good thumbnail and also how to make one yourself. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to show you guys what a good thumbnail looks like, and exactly that, we went to Google and we just looked up good YouTube thumbnails, and this is what's come up. So number one thing that you're going to want to do when you're coming up with your thumbnails is you want to keep in mind that you want your thumbnail to be very eye-catching and very simple. You don't want to have a ton of text. You don't want it to be very dark. You don't want to have a ton of pictures. You don't want, like, the thumbnail is supposed to almost be like a hieroglyphic. Very, very simple. Tell a story with maybe 1 or 2 pictures max, maybe 1 or 2 lines of text. It might even be 1 or 2, the 2 lines might even just be 2 words, and then that's it. If you get way too complex in your thumbnail, it'll actually turn people off, because it's just too much. They don't know what they're looking at. You want to be very simple. So example, we'll take a look at this top right one. This is one that PewDiePie actually made, I think it was a couple of years ago at this point. He made this video, or he made this thumbnail as kind of like a video like this, how to make thumbnails that are actually good. And you'll notice in this, it's very, very bright, right? You want to keep in mind, like I said before, you want it to be eye-catching, but the thing that I like to think of for making an eye-catching thumbnail is make it so that if a 4-year-old saw it, that they would like it. They would think that it's cool. And the reason why you want that is, even though your target market might not be 4-year-olds or kids at all, the fact is that the pictures are big, bold, eye-catching, simple, and easy to consume, right? So for here we have, I know it's kind of a joke thumbnail, but he says I suck. This is like a bigger text. You have the rainbow background and then just a big picture of somebody's face, like from the collarbone or from the neck up. Very big and bold. This one, like, I don't know who this guy is, so I don't want to like criticize him as a content creator, but I probably wouldn't make a YouTube video or a YouTube thumbnail like this, because it's a lot of text, all this stuff over here. Like, yes, he has like older thumbnails that he's made in the past, got the YouTube logo and stuff, but it's just a lot of blue and gray all mashed up together. The only thing that really stands out in this thumbnail is the play button, but everything else is kind of not that appealing in my opinion. It's not very colorful. Something like this one, much more colorful, much more eye-catching. You got like the rainbow looking background, you got 3 lines of text, everything just kind of pops. Much better in my opinion. This Fortnite one, see, like there's a theme going on right now. See, look at a rainbow background, 3 lines of text, and then a big picture of somebody. In this case, it's one of the characters. All right, so I'm gonna see, there's another one, same thing. We got, I think, Selena Gomez, big text, YouTube, has a rainbow background. Like I said, it's a very easy formula once you know what it is. Stop with it right there, and I'm going to show you some of the thumbnails that I've made in the past for my MoS Trixx channel to just show you kind of how I've developed my own style, because like, yes, of course you can copy this format and that's totally fine, but you also want to have your own style with regards to your own content, and it might be a little bit hard to do that if you've never done it before. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've done, and hopefully these examples can transition into your own work. So just very quickly, here are 2 thumbnails of mine that I absolutely love. I just love how they turned out. But on the left, we have, this was for an empty hop video I did on the channel a little while ago, but we have a very, very bright background, got bright colors, everything is matching as well. Like, we have Isabel wearing the light blue and the dark blue, Squirtle also like having the light blue and dark blue with the shading a little bit. They both have like this yellow with Isabel's face and Squirtle's stomach. And then of course I transition that into the font. See, we have the dark blue going into the light blue, and then we have the yellow at the bottom. It's also on a dark background so that it contrasts nicely, and it's just very easy to read. You can easily see everything that's happening in the video or in the thumbnail. It's just very simple, very colorful, and exactly the same format like the other thumbnails that we looked at earlier from the other YouTubers. And then on the right, once again, the same sort of format. We have the big picture of Chic on the left, then we have 3 lines of text, right? And in this case, we have like a shiny text, so we have like the silver shiny text saying Frenzy Light. Underneath that, we have NTT, which is Nail the Trick. And then we have our colorful background. And the thing is with this one, and I had to do a little bit of tweaking, is the background was actually too light in the corner. So I put a gradient of dark blue so that the word Frenzy Light would stand out even more. right? Because before we had silver on light blue, which is bad. So we now have silver on dark blue, which is good. So you can clearly read everything. I put a little bit of a stroke around the nail the trick so that it would pop a little bit more. It's very subtle, but it just makes it a little bit more sharp, a little bit more crisp, so you can really read it. And the thing is too, to test if you're actually making a good thumbnail, is if you make it really small, like so. Can I make it smaller than that? Actually, you know what? We can just look at the files. Let's look at these files. If you make it like as small as this, if you can still read it and it's this far away, then you've made a good thumbnail. That's one of the ways I test it out. So like we have this one right here. I'm sure you can read that. It says Ban Lilat. Let's see what else we got that stands out. Active hop one's not too bad. Let's see. Laser scaling, that one's good too. We got really light text on black background. This one, I just liked it. This one was like kind of a meme, to be honest. Can I make this big? Let's make it big. And this one, we're not gonna get really into like the whole style of it. I'll wait for it to show up. There it goes. But this one was like more of a joke. And this video did really, really well because of the thumbnail, right? We had like, this is a picture of Snake just up to his neck in grenades. This is a video about like camping and spamming. The topic's not really a big deal or important, but what is important is how this just translates, right? We have white text, dark background, and a picture of somebody's face. In this case, it's all like liquefied and crazy, but still, I did this one months ago, still the same format and very eye-catching once again. So with all that being said, let's jump in and make a thumbnail. So this video is probably going to be a little bit longer than the other videos going forward from before, but I also want to stress that this is not going to be a Photoshop tutorial. This is going to be more of an art tutorial on what you want to do. If you don't have Photoshop, if you're using a different program, totally fine. All these techniques will still entirely translate. It's just what you want to do when you're making your thumbnail. All right, so first things first, for this thumbnail, I'm going to be doing, the thumbnail is going to be for the video that was previous to this one, so it already exists at this point, but it was going to be for how to manage your time when doing YouTube videos. So for me, the first thing I'm going to think of course, is like the words that are going to be in the title. So I have time, which is obviously the most important thing in this particular title. So I'm going to have some clip art for me of a clock, and it can be any clock you like. I like to stick to more clip art, to be honest. So we got our clip art clock right here, okay? This is not anything special by any means. It's mostly the fact that, like I said from before, you kind of want to do a hieroglyphics or story tell through very big, simple pictures, right? So what I'm gonna do here, I've got my clock here. I'm just getting my components first. I always get all my pieces and then I go from there. So the next thing I do is think about my title again. It's how do I manage my time? So I'm gonna have something to do with thinking because it's asking a question. So I like to use this emoji a lot. This emoji is great. People seem to love this one, so I use that quite a bit. So now we have our clock. All right, we have our clock, we have our think emoji, and lastly is how do we manage our time to do YouTube videos or doing YouTube? So we're going to use the YouTube play button, right? So these are going to be our three main components. Even if this was the thumbnail just like that, that's actually, believe it or not, pretty good. Like I'd probably maybe rearrange it a little bit more, of course, and there's no background, but just with these three components, it tells you exactly what we're trying to look at. How do we manage our time doing YouTube? It's exactly that. I might not even use words, right? So here's what we're gonna do now. So we have our clock, this over here, maybe rotate this, make it a bit smaller, something like that. And then we're gonna have the clock probably actually just like that. So now we have our clock with the white background, very nice. And then from here, if you want to, you can use a picture from Google as far as a crazy background. If you don't want to get too crazy with that, you can also just do a gradient. And like I said, this is not specifically to Photoshop. So if you don't even use Photoshop and you don't have this tool, then you can probably just grab something from Google. You probably even just type in like blue to white gradient or red to yellow gradient or whatever you want, and do something like that. So let's see, I haven't changed any of these colors. let's change this to red. That's another thing too, is if you look at any fast food joints or restaurants or anything like that, red is the most eye-catching color. Like, think about it. We got McDonald's, we have Coca-Cola, we have Wendy's, we have YouTube, so many of these different things that use red because red is probably one of the best, if not the best colors for catching somebody's eye. So anyways, I'm going to make a new layer and pull that down here, just behind everything. And I don't know how it's gonna look with the white background. We'll try it out. It's not too bad, but the red is a little bit too intense as well. Like, I want it to be more like the YouTube color red. So I'm just gonna select that, grab that, and then try again. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use yellow. I'm gonna use a bit of yellow. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use the yellow from here, which is kind of like an off orange, and then go gradient. Something like that. That's much better. Something like that. I might change the angle a little bit. A little more. Yeah, that's much better. Because we got contrasting, we got yellow in the top right corner, we got yellow in the bottom left corner. All right, so that's nice contrast. We got white on both sides. Not that that is like incredibly important, but let's go like this. You know what? I'm gonna make this a bit smaller. And also tilting your pictures a little bit. I don't know, this is kind of like, it sounds kind of weird, but it adds a small aspect of fun to your thumbnail. So having tilted pictures, having things that are a little bit wacky, even though it's like kind of weird to say or hilarious to say, but whatever, it makes your thumbnail stand out a little bit more. I kind of want to put this over here. So now we have the contrast between between the play button and the red on this side, and then we got the yellow over here and this over here. So this can make it a bit bigger now since it's on its own, since we're swapping it. And then here, I might change the size of the emoji, but I want to add something here. It just says this one word, since it's just a smaller word in general, I can make it huge. Let's go like that. I also want to make it a bit brighter. And now right here, we have like not no contrast, but it doesn't really pop. So, you know what? I might actually change it from the light yellow like that to gold. This is silver. Shiny text, once again, typically the way to go. More eye-catching. And I'm gonna go with a stroke, not blue. I'm gonna go with black and make it a bit smaller. So you can see it, you know it's there. It helps outline everything and make it pop, right? And also this font is way too intense for this. Now that it's also smaller, I can make it a bit bigger. Or you know what I might do? I know I'm doing this on the fly, so I apologize, but I might even just put all this on one side, like I've had in the past. And then for this, bring this up a little bit and just make it big. Something like that. Because I can skew this a little bit. I kind of want to make these like cascade a little bit more. So these are going to be a bit smaller. I think that'll work pretty well actually. I might make this a bit bigger since I can. And so now we have all of our base components. We have our color scheme. And one thing I like to do now is take a look at everything and see if I can cut anything back or reduce anything to make it even simpler. So in this case, the only thing that I might change is the words being used. So instead of time management, we can mess around with that a little bit and let's see what we can come up with. I'm going to be asking a bit of a question and we have the thinking face, which is good. How to say manage capitals, manage time. All right, so let's try this instead. This might work a little bit better actually. It's essentially saying the exact same thing, but we're gonna make it simpler. How to manage time. It's exactly that. And make it as big as possible. Something like that. I can also bring it down a bit, I think. I think, you know what? I'm gonna make the YouTube button a lot bigger. Have it a little bit off the screen, because we know what it is. There's no way you can see what it is from here and not get it, right? So I'll do that. Oops. Something like that. I'll bring this up here. Bring this like that. I think we're pretty good. I think this is actually pretty good. I'm gonna make this move over a bit so it's not overlapping the emoji face. And then that's pretty much it. So this would be a very, like I said before, very simple format for a thumbnail. And it's straight to the point because the video itself is how to manage your time doing YouTube. And you have your clock, you have your face here thinking, wondering how to do that, and you have YouTube say how to manage time. Can't get more straight to the point than that. It's very bright, it's got the shiny text, it's got the outline on the text. Like I said, we got our pictures. The YouTube button is also shiny. We have a good color scheme, very simple, very eye-catching. And yeah, that's gonna be our thumbnail for the previous video. And of course, once you've watched this, and I'm sure if you clicked on this video also is going to have a thumbnail of a very similar layout. Hopefully you'll have a pretty strong understanding of how to do thumbnails yourself. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Once again, this is Trixx from MoS Trixx, and thanks for watching the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this.